Okay, let's talk about four basic components of computers. Okay, let's face it, really. I know you know the basic components right now, and you already know that, but let's really take a step into it and really understand everything about it in more depth. Now, I'm gonna go with the basic and beginner for this section, but whenever we come to the section how to buy a laptop and computer for ourselves, then we'll check everything more in more depth, really teach you the highest thing that we have for you in order to buy and to get the best laptop or computer for you. So the number one thing that I should say is we have four basic components, and the number one thing is input. I mean, whenever you have a computer, so it has something that really you put information in it. For example, using a mouse or maybe a keyboard, so you give information or data to the computer. So that's called input devices. The next thing we have is CPU, or Central Processing Unit. It's sort of a brain of computer that really the data that you give to your computer, it really check it out and it really process that information and it gives you the result. So that's the CPU. The next thing is output. So whenever you give the data to computer and it really process that, and then it gives us the output, the result of the data and the concreted data. So that's called output. And the last one is storage, where it's something that stores and really keep the data for you. Imagine a computer doesn't have storage, well, that computer is useless and it doesn't have anything. So storage keeps the data forever for you. Now we will talk about each in more detail. Let's talk right now. So the process of entering data and instructions into the computer system is input. For example, you might use a USB or something optical cable or audio in, something like that, or AV in that you can see in the picture, or maybe keyboard or screen or something like that. It's the process of entering data and instructions into the computer system. So that's called input. Let's talk about devices. Input devices are like touchpad or mouse that you can see now. I'm moving it right now. The keyboard that you can see, I typed everything on the screen. CD or DVD-ROM, where you put CD or DVD into it and you get the data, copy it, or play the song or something else. Microphone is something that I'm talking right now with it, so it gets the frequencies of the sound and it really keep you there for you. And touch, for example, if your phone is touchable, it has touch screen, your computer has touch screen, so that is called input. Scanner, webcam, and again a scanner. So that is all about input devices. We can have a lot of it, of course. That's not about maybe joystick or something that you play with the game. So that's called input devices. It's the process of getting information or giving the computer some data for the next step. And the next step is really CPU, or Central Processing Unit. Now, let me just be true with you, and we have a lot of types and companies and really gigahertz and so much more and generations about CPU, but let's keep everything simple into this section until we reach how to buy a laptop or computer for ourselves. Now, CPU is performing arithmetic or logical operations on data in order to convert them into useful information. So that is called CPU. It's the brain, it's the mind of computer. Imagine your brain as CPU. So that's all about the CPU. The next one is really, let me just not tell you the results and the question and somehow what it is. The process of it producing useful information or result for the user, such as printed, report, or visual display. Now, what is it? Good guess. It is output. So whenever you see something that it has output, you understand it your own language, well, that's called output. Now, computer language is not like English, something like that, but it is 1 and 0, 1 and 0. So we don't understand 1 and 0. So computer gives us output and produce the information we understand. We, the user, understand. maybe as a printed report or something like that. It's the output. It's to our language. So computer is really intelligent. It changes 0 and 1 to our language as in as output. And output devices can be monitor, screen, speaker, printer, or USB flash, something blah blah like that. And they are all output devices. For example, you play a song and you hear it and you listen to it by speaker. That's called output devices. And the next step in computer somehow basic devices components is really storage. Now we talked about input, output, CPU. Let's talk about storage right now. That's saving data and instructions so that are available for processing and when they are required. So that's called storage. Storage is something that really keeps the data if there is needed for the process or we want it to. So that's called storage. For example, imagine a box or something. These cabinets are storing something in it. So whenever we need it, so we just open the cabinet and we grab the thing we wanted. Storage is the same as that. And let's step back a little bit and understand storage types. Now, storage types are more. Number one is permanent, and the second one is temporary. Permanent is something like it's there forever. The data is there forever. It's not deleting. Whenever your computer is turned off, it's still there. You don't lose it. Or maybe your electricity break up and it is still there. And your computer really destroys its CPU or something like that. So it is still there. It's like your somehow permanent long-term memory. Like for example, HDD, hard disk drive, SSD, CD, DVD, flash, cloud. They are all storage as permanent thing. And each one has different speed. For example, HDD has lower speed, but SSD, wow, it's the new generation. It has better speed, more speed. And CD and DVDs, they are really low speed, and flash are okay, and cloud are super in speed. It just need internet connection. I brought this category in this too. And temporary are divided in two parts, RAM and ROM. So now RAM is coming from random access memory. It's temporary. Whenever your computer somehow you turn off your computer, the data is not there. Okay, whenever you do something with computer, the data is there. So the abbreviation for random access memory it's something that it's computer memory in which data can be changed or removed and can be looked at it in any order. So that's called the random access memory or RAM. It's somehow temporary storage or memory, and whenever you turn off your computer, all the data is gone. So that's it. And ROM, not RAM, ROM is the abbreviation or is coming in ROM. It stands for read-only memory. It's the computer memory that really contains instructions or data that cannot be changed or removed. So that is all about this thing. Now, this all was the instructions that I give you. Let's step back again and let me open Task Manager. So you can see now I have opened Task Manager. Let's see something about in here. Now the process really is in here. You can see now CPU, memory, disk, network. You can see all of that, right? So you understand now CPU, okay? It's the brain of the computer that processes the data. Memory, it's sort of like RAM, okay? Physical memory, okay? And disk and network is somehow the internet connection that you have, which I don't have. And power usage. Now you understand everything, okay? It's the basic. But let me just somehow tell you something, and that is too much important. Now CPU has generation and types and company, and somehow speed, something like different. And we have to talk more about these things in the later sections that I give you guide and I guide you how you can buy the best computer for you. Now for this section, it's enough. Let's keep everything simple. Now if you have any questions, just go ahead and queue a section of your dashboard and ask me anything you wanted. I am just there for you.